So first of all, I would like to tell you that India was one of the most ancient civilization that was known as Indus Valley civilization. And India is a very important country in Indian subcontinent. Remember, in Indian subcontinent, not only India is a one country. Apart from India, there are 6 other countries that are there in Indian subcontinent. These countries are Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and Maldives. So including India, we have 7 countries in Indian subcontinent. Now you must remember what is subcontinent. So subcontinent is a special piece of a continent which is having unique geographical or political differences. Like India is located in the south of Asia, which is separated from Asia from the Himalayan mountain. And India is having other very important features that I would like to tell you in interesting facts. So first of all, in north of India there is Himalayan mountain. Then next to Himalayan mountain, if you go towards the south direction, you will find northern plains. And then the south of northern plain is the peninsular plateau. So peninsular plateau is covering the largest part of India, as you can see in the image. Then if you go towards the northwestern direction, so you will find with the Thar desert. And remember, this Thar desert is attracting monsoon, which is very beneficial for India. And you please comment me below that how this Thar desert is attracting monsoon. And then if you see the east and western part, so there we have the coastal plains. And we have 2 very important islands also, which is known as Lakshadweep Island and Andaman and Nicobar Island. And India is also home for several major rivers, including the Ganga, Brahmaputra, Krishna, Kaveri and n number of other rivers. Near to the eastern and western coastal plain, we have the very important Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. So Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats are a series of hill which is called hilly range, which is situated in the eastern and western coastal plain respectively. So these are some very very important facts about India. About these all facts we will discuss in detail in upcoming chapter. Now very quickly we will discuss about the size of India. So remember, the total area of India is 3.28 million square kilometer. 1 million is equal to 10 lakhs. So if you talk in terms of lakhs, so it will be 32,80,000 square kilometer. The total land boundary of India is 15,200 kilometer. Means you can see in the image, with this total land boundary, India is sharing its land boundary with about 7 countries. If you go with the size, so the largest land boundary that India shares with any country is Bangladesh, which is close to 4,096.70 kilometer, followed by China, that is close to 3,488 kilometer, then Pakistan 3,323 kilometer, then Nepal 1,751 kilometer, then Myanmar 1,643 kilometer, then Bhutan 6,099 kilometer, and then Afghanistan 106 kilometer. So remember, here this question is frequently coming in 1 mark question, that with which country we are sharing the largest land boundary. So the answer is Bangladesh. The minimum land boundary that India shares with any country is Afghanistan. But remember, sharing land boundary with Afghanistan is always a matter of conflict. You comment me below why this is a matter of conflict. Now the next one is the mainland boundary of India is 6,100 kilometer. What is the meaning of mainland boundary? This coastal land boundary, can you see, that is known as the mainland boundary, that is 6,100 kilometer. And if you include these 2 islands, that is Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar, so the total length of coastline will increase up to 7,516.6 kilometer. This number is including Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep Island. Now the next very important point is India covers 2.42% of the total geographical area of the world. Now what is the meaning of that? See, if suppose in the world there are 100 acre of land is there, so out of that 100 acre land, 2.42 acre land is in India. Now In terms of area, our rank in the world is 7th. Now the larger country in terms of area than us is, in rank wise I'm telling you, the first country in terms of area, the largest country in terms of area is Russia, that is 17.09 million square kilometer, followed by Canada, that is 9.98 million square kilometer, then USA, that is United States of America, that is 9.62 million square kilometer. Then we have China, that is 9.59 million square kilometer. Then Brazil 8.51 million square kilometer. Then Australia 7.69 million square kilometer. Then we have India, that is 3.28 million square kilometer. Now if you compare the two countries here, that is India and Russia, so can you see the size of Russia, that is whopping 17 million square kilometer, and see the size of India, that is 3.28 million square kilometer. So in terms of size, Russia is a huge country. But if you see the population, so Indian population is close to 130 crore, whereas the population of Russia is just close to 15 crore. So you can see the differences here, that in Russia we have large amount of land but very few people are living there, and in India we have very small amount of land and so many people are living. And this so many people, that is the population growth, is the grassroots reason for every major problem in India. One more very important point is there, that the southernmost point of Indian Union was Indira Point up to 2004. After 2004, Indira Point was submerged under the seawater in tsunami. So first of all, let's discuss about the differences between latitude and longitude. The first very important difference is that this latitude, if you see, it is horizontal line. Our teacher was saying to us when we were of your age that latitude means leti hui line, that is horizontal line, and longitude means. The second very important difference is it is dividing earth into two hemispheres, that is northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Similarly, this longitude or vertical line is dividing our earth into two hemispheres, that is eastern hemisphere and western hemisphere. The third very important difference is, since this latitude is dividing our earth into two hemispheres, that is why it will be always measured in north or south. Similarly, this longitude will be measured in east or west. Then the next very important difference is these latitudes are parallel, whereas these longitudes are not parallel. Why? Because these longitudes are starting from the same point and ending at the same point. That is why they are never parallel. The next point is about length. So in terms of length, the length of latitude will always change. As you can see, the length of latitude will be maximum at the equator and the length will be minimum at the poles. Whereas in longitude, the length will be always same. Now remember, this latitude is also known as parallels, since they are parallel to each other, and this longitude is also known as meridian. Now the next point, as I said, one very important word, that is equator. So remember, the reference point or the 0 degree latitude is called as equator, that is dividing our globe into two hemispheres, that is northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Similarly, the reference point of longitude, that is dividing our earth into two hemispheres, that is eastern hemisphere and western hemisphere, that is 0 degree longitude, is called as prime meridian. The total number of latitude is 180 degree and the total number of longitude is 360 degree. Now one question I am asking to you, why we are always measure latitude or longitude in a degree? Why not in centimeter, meter, kilometer? Why we are always using the unit as a degree? You comment me below and let me know. And the most important difference between these two very important coordinates are, remember, latitude will always be useful for finding the difference or the duration of day and night. That is also called as heat zone. And remember, heat is related to temperature and temperature is related to climate. So about this latitude we will also discuss in chapter number 4, geography, that is climate. Whereas if we talk about the longitude, so longitude always influences the time zone. And about this heat zone and time zone we will discuss in detail in upcoming minutes. Now we will discuss about the influence of latitudinal extent. So remember, as I have told you before, that it influences the duration of day and night. Now how it is affecting the duration of day and night? So see the figure. Here in this figure you can see the sunlight is directly coming to the central region, which is known as torrid zone. Remember, this torrid means hot. And why this is hot? Because the sunlight is coming directly, and because of the curvature surface of the earth, the distance between earth and sun is also minimum here. So that is why it is known as torrid zone. Apart from torrid zone, it is also known as equatorial zone, since it is near to the equator, and the area it is covering, that is ranging from 23.5 degree north to 23.5 degrees south, which is known as north torrid zone or the south torrid zone. This particular area is also known as tropical zone. So remember, tropical zone and equatorial zone all are same. Now the next particular area you see, that is from 23.5 degree to 66.5 degree, both in north and south direction. So here you see the sunlight is coming not directly but with a slanting direction. And see, because of this slanting direction as well as the distance between the earth and sun has been also increased, that is why the temperature will be less here as compared to torrid zone. And here the temperature will be average, and this average temperature is known as moderate temperature. So this particular area is also known as moderate zone, or this is also known as temperate zone. So remember, temperate means moderate only and moderate means average only. Clear? So this is known as north temperate zone and south temperate zone relatively. Then the next area you see, the top one and the bottom one, this and their area ranging from 66.5 degree to 90 degree in north and south direction respectively, and this is known as north frigid zone and south frigid zone. Why it is known as frigid zone? So frigid means, you must remember, that is cold. Clear? So if you see the sunlight here, so sunlight is extremely slanting here if you see the direction, and the distance between the earth and sun has also been increased. So that is why here the temperature will be minimum, and that is why it is called frigid zone, north frigid zone and south frigid zone. So as you can see, this all horizontal lines, whether it is equator or it is Tropic of Cancer or it is Arctic Circle, these all are called latitude. And this latitude is directly related to the temperature, and temperature is related to the heat. So that is why this particular latitude is affecting the heat zones. Now one more thing you must remember, that is frequently coming in your exam, that two locations are there, that is Kanyakumari and Srinagar. So if you see, the Kanyakumari is the southernmost part of India and Srinagar is situated in the north part of India. So in which place the differences between the duration of day and night will occur? So remember, see the map of India. So Kanyakumari is situated near to the equator, and you must remember, the place which is near to the equator, the difference between day and night will be minimum. Why? Because sunlight is coming directly here. But if you go away from the equator, then slowly the difference between day and night will appear more. And if you will be at the north pole 90 degree completely, so you must have heard in the north pole there is 6-month night and 6-month day is there. So here the difference between day and night will be maximum, but the place which is near to the equator, the difference between day and night will be minimum. So since Kanyakumari is near to the equator, that is why the difference between day and night will be minimum in Kanyakumari, and Srinagar is relatively far from the equator, that is why the difference between day and night in Srinagar will be more. So that is all about the influence of latitudinal extent. Now the next topic we will start, that is the influence of longitudinal extent. So remember, I have already told you that this longitude affect our time zone. How this is affecting our time zone? It is very easy. You see the particular earth rotation. Earth is doing its one complete rotation in 24 hours, and one rotation is equal to 360 degree. So can we say that this 360 degree is equal to 24 hours? Now if 24 hours is equal to 360 degree, so 1 hour will be equal to 1515 degree. So this equation you must remember, that this 1 hour is equal to 1515 degree. Now you see the map of India, and here if you see the particular longitude which is always measured in east and west, that I have already told you. So you see the easternmost part which is written 97 degree 25 minutes, and now you see the westernmost part that is near to the Gujarat, so you see 68 degree 7 minutes. So in the easternmost part we have 97 degree 25 minutes, and in the westernmost part we have 68 degree 7 minutes. And if you find the difference between these two particular longitudinal points, so here the difference will appear which is close to 30 degree, approximately 30 degree. So as per our formula, 15 degree is equal to 1 hour, so 30 degree will be equal to 2 hours. So there we have the time difference of 2 hours between Arunachal Pradesh and Gujarat. Now what is the meaning here? Now suppose in Arunachal Pradesh there is 10 o'clock right now in the morning, 10 am you can say. So what will be the time at Gujarat? So it will be 8 am. So that is the difference of 2 hours. That is the difference of 2 hours between the time period of Arunachal Pradesh and Gujarat. Now my point is, suppose here we have the 10 am, so here can be 12 also. Why I have used only 8 am? So remember, why I have used here 8 am, the reason is because the sun will rise first in the eastern part and then it will come to the western part. Is it clear? So the eastern time will always be ahead than the western time. That is why in Arunachal Pradesh we have the 10 am and in Gujarat we have the 8 am. Okay. So sun will rise first in Arunachal Pradesh. The time of Arunachal Pradesh will be always ahead by 2 hours from the Gujarat. Similarly, wherever we will go in India, so there will be always a different time will be there. So it will be very easy for us to be on a same time. Why? Because everywhere in India, since India is a very big country, and if we are changing our particular position or a particular place, then our time will also change. So to remove this confusion, we have followed one standard time zone which is known as Indian Standard Time Zone, IST, which we have taken from the center of India, that is having the longitudinal location of 82 degree 30 minutes east. So the time along this IST will be taken as the standard time for entire India. So suppose, as per our example, here in Arunachal Pradesh we have the 10 am and here in Gujarat we have the 8 am. So what will be the time around IST, that is Indian Standard Time. So here we are taking the average of these two very extreme part of India, that we are adding these two places and we will divide by the 2. So here suppose 10 plus 8, that is 18, divided by 2, that is 9. So 9 am will be the time of this IST, that is Indian Standard Time, and that is the average time between these two particular places, and that is also signifying that this particular line, that is IST, is passing from the middle of India and it is dividing India into two parts, that is eastern part and western part. Okay, so again very quick revision. IST is passing from 82 degree 30 minutes. It is dividing India into two equal parts, that is eastern part and western part. The time along IST has been taken as the standard time for the entire India, and the time will be the average time between the easternmost part and westernmost part of India. So these many points we have discussed about this. Now the two things what I am telling to you is always coming in competitive exam. So the first one is this IST is passing from how many states? So remember, this IST is passing from 5 states. So again I am telling you, IST is passing from 5 states, and the name of states are, first of all it is Mirzapur, Uttar Pradesh. Remember, Mirzapur is in Allahabad. Now Allahabad is known as Prayagraj. So Mirzapur, Allahabad or Prayagraj, and this is in Uttar Pradesh. The first state is completed. The second one is Madhya Pradesh. Remember, Madhya Pradesh, the name Madhya means center. So whenever any line is passing from the center of India, so Madhya Pradesh will automatically come. Then the next one is the baby of Madhya Pradesh, that is Chhattisgarh. And the fourth one is Odisha. And the fifth very important state is Andhra Pradesh. Remember, one more very important option is there, that is the baby of Andhra Pradesh, that is Telangana. So remember, this question is also coming, that is IST is passing from Telangana? So answer is no. IST is not passing from Telangana. So it is passing from 5 states. Again I am repeating: Mirzapur, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. Okay, similarly one more very important imaginary line is there, that is latitude only, that is known as Tropic of Cancer. So Tropic of Cancer, if you see the image of India, so it is dividing India into two equal parts, almost two equal parts, which is known as northern part and southern part. So it is passing from how many states? So it is passing from 8 states. Remember, the first state is Gujarat, the second state is Rajasthan, the third state is Madhya Pradesh. Again you see Madhya Pradesh is coming because Madhya means center. The fourth one is Chhattisgarh, the fifth one is Jharkhand, the sixth one is West Bengal, the seventh one is Tripura, and the eighth one is Mizoram. So these are the 8 very important states that you must remember. So again remember, IST is passing from how many states and Tropic of Cancer is passing from how many states. This question is frequently asking in so many competitive exams. So you please remember these 2 points. So the first very important topic is administrative divisions. So remember, today we have the particular system of states as well as union territories. We have 29 states and 7 union territories. But before independence, India was known as British India, and it was having provinces and princely states. So provinces were ruled directly by British officials and princely states were ruled by the local rulers. But remember, the local rulers have accepted the supremacy of the British government. The next one is these provinces were 11 in number at the time of independence, and these princely states were 565 in number at the time of independence. For example, provinces you can talk about the Bombay or the Madras, but princely states like Jammu and Kashmir and Hyderabad, these were the princely states. Remember, at the time of independence, we have given the independent choice to these local rulers whether they want to be with India or they want to act like an independent country. So at the time of this critical situation, our first home minister, that was Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel ji, has played a very critical task, and he personally went to all the local rulers and he convinced them to be within the part of India, and that was a humongous task, and that is why our first home minister, that is Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel ji, is known as the Iron Man of India. And recently on his honor we have dedicated the world's largest statue, that is known as the Statue of Unity, that is located in Gujarat. So that is all about this British India and the provinces and princely states. Now quickly we will discuss about India and the world. So remember, the trade relations with the global world was happening through the trans-Indian ocean routes that was connecting India with the countries of Europe and Asia, as you can see in the image. The trans-Indian ocean route is passing from the Indian Ocean, and remember, Indian Ocean is the single ocean in the world which is named after a country. And why it is named after a country, India? Because India is sharing the largest coastal boundary with Indian Ocean. So that one fact you must remember. Then the next one is, remember about one very important canal which is known as Suez Canal. As you can see in the image, before the invention of this before the making of the Suez Canal, the distance between India and Europe were close to 18,000. But after opening of the Suez Canal, the distance between India and Europe has been reduced to 11,000. So there is a whopping reduction of 7,000 kilometer between the India and Europe, which is great, because if the distance is reduced, so the particular fuel through which we are traveling were also reduced, and this fuel we were not getting at free, we were getting by paying dollar, so our money is also saved. Now as I said, we were paying in dollar, not in rupees, and this dollar is not our currency, we are making from the foreign market. That is why our foreign dependency will also be reduced. The next very important point is time. Previously we were taking too much time, now time is also saved. Our productivity and profit will also increase. Remember, the Suez Canal was opened in 1869. So this many information is there regarding the Suez Canal. Now the next point is, because of this particular trade and all, we were exchanging so many things, like we were exchanging commodities such as spices, textile, muslin, etc. We were exchanging ideas such as Upanishads, Ramayana and Panchtatra. What is the meaning of Panchtatra? Story. And what is the meaning of Upanishad? Upanishad means when the particular teacher and a student are learning together, then it is called Upanishad. Ramayana to you all know. Then the next one is exchange of architectural styles, such as architectural style and structures like Greek sculptures and extra were also very famous. These Greek sculptures we have accepted from the Greek, and these architectural styles such as domes, minarets we have taken from the Middle East. So some great thing we have given to the world and some great thing we have accepted from them also. So that is called as exchange. Now the next one is, our so many states are sharing their border with different countries, that I am giving you as homework. Now very quickly I would like to tell you about some important questions. What is the influence of latitudinal and longitudinal extent of India? The next question is, briefly explain about the size of India. The third question is, justify the naming of Indian Ocean after India. The fourth question is, what is meant by Indian Standard Time? Why do we need a standard meridian for India? And the fifth question is, India has a long coastline which is advantageous, explain. So friends, that is all in this particular chapter. I hope you have learned the complete chapter very nicely. If still you have any confusion, any question, any type of doubt, you please comment it below and let me know. We will meet you in the next chapter. Till then, bye bye. Take care of yourself. Thank you.